It's 10:10. September 20th? Monday. I just finished meditating, and it started off a cold light at the top. It was just pulsing. It's just pulsing. And then from my left side, there's movement from my left side. But the pulsing it was there for a while. And then from the left side, there's this movement. Very like it was at an angle almost, but like that. But there was this sensation of fear, like wanting to come forward, but I sensed fear. Not sure, not being sure, like just not being sure, like a little bit of fear and not being sure. But there was like this, like it's wanting to come, and it was gradual. Like it started from here, and then it wanted to come, and then it backtrack, and then it keep wanting to come, and then it ultimately got to this side, and then this side was like embracing it, almost like embracing it as it's approaching. And then this side is already here, like it reached it, and then this side's just embracing it. And there was this sense of like excitement and joy from this side. That's what it felt like in terms of emotional. Like it was just like happy. And the movement was that such, like just very, and it was just like, that was weird. Like it was just like, and I felt it, like it was just like you know when a puppy, like when you're not sure of something, or like when you're trying to call a puppy over, or just any animal really, like a cat, and then they're like they want to come close, but there's fear, but they're coming very slowly. That's what it felt like there was that, like I want to come towards you, but I'm afraid feeling, I'm not sure feeling, I'm but then it finally got there, and then this side was just like like I felt like the excitement, elation, the joy. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. And then there was just more movement after that, like this blending, if you will. It's nice. And I have tinglingness. I didn't have it in the morning, but when I started hearing the sounds, and I mentioned that I listen to meditation music. So the one I'm listening to is called Aura Cleansing Sleep Meditation, 7 Chakras Cleansing Meditation Music, Sleep Meditation by New Meditation Music. But I felt the tingling sensation. funny thing, the video that I'm preparing to post for tomorrow morning, I'm talking about Lila's thing, and how when I was there at the sound bath, how I just got that whole tingling sensation. And then realizing that I got the tingling sensation the first day that I got it recently was when I was just, and then I thought, well, was it when I first started reading this book? This is the book that I'm reading, the World's Religion book. And I'm like, no, because I don't remember feeling the tingling sensation when I was at the top, the first day that I started reading it. Only the day, the day that he reached out. It was that morning. I didn't, and then I tried looking back on my camera too to see if I recorded on that, and I didn't. I recorded before it happened because I had to go move my car, and I took my book. So when I go move my car now, like that's something that I do. I take my book with me, as you know, depending on where I find the parking spot, and then to force myself to stay there at least a good hour to read, as a way just to incorporate that as part of my routine. And I took it with me that day because I found the video where I was going. And I stayed in the car reading, and I remember feeling the tingle. That's when I started feeling, I was like, that's so weird. Maybe I'm onto something. I remember thinking about that and what I was reading and thinking, am I onto something in terms of what I'm reading? Because I mentioned I'm a messy reader. Like I write notes, I highlight, I tab stuff, I look stuff up when I don't understand words, and so I thought that was it. But then later that day, that night, really is when I got that message. And then right now it's the music that's triggering it. And then I remember too that it was, right, certain songs would trigger it. And actually this morning there was a song that played, and it was the same, because I was listening, I mentioned I listen to music in the mornings, and certain songs will just trigger the tingling sensation. But anyways, the reason why I'm bringing up the tingling sensation again, after the movement, I was sitting with my breath, and I have Gary's pause, breathe, smile. Like, I have post-its all over my house because that's what he had recommended in his book. Pause, breathe, smile. I mean, he recommends like stickers, but I don't have stickers. I have post-its, so I wrote a bunch of pause, breathe, smile all over as a way to help me remember to take a moment, and when I see that post-it, do what it says, right? And I have one in my little meditation space. So I start off my own session in that way, but I was paying more attention to my breath in that moment as I'm looking at the colors in the movement and reflecting on his question as to what purpose would it serve for me to paint the waves. And I remember my response to him was, so that people aren't afraid of it if they see it, to not fear it, so that it becomes familiar if they see it. But so I'm thinking that and paying attention to my breath, and then realizing that I'm really not breathing. That my breaths are very shallow, because then I started remembering after every moment that I have the waves, I remember, like, I take a deep breath after, like when I'm bringing myself back. And then that triggered that. I'm like, oh, that's right. I do take a deep breath, like as soon as I'm done, almost like if I hadn't been breathing But it's not to the point where I'm like gasping for air. It's like if my breaths just kind of became so shallow that when I'm done, there's this like relief almost. Like there's relief in that moment that I'm experiencing the waves, but there's another relief after I receive it of like coming back, like, oh, okay, like, and I noticed that today, and I was just paying more attention to my breath, and it coincidentally, even in sessions lately with my clients, I've been focusing a lot on breathing and teaching them different styles of deep breathing, some more exaggerated than others, to raise their level of awareness as to how their bodies respond and contract, and the tension really that one doesn't know is within your body until you do more of the exaggerated steps. And you have to do the exaggerated steps so that you can feel the difference. And I remember Chan, my acupuncturist person, massage person, he was the one that taught me, that helped me realize how I wasn't breathing I wasn't doing belly breaths, right? He forced me to breathe through my stomach, and I remember my body shaking as I tried to expand my stomach. And I realized it's shaking because I've lived a life of constricted breathing. And so to try to release that was weird for my body. Like it would shake to extend, and not realizing now I know that was just my body, like how intense it was contracted. And so for so long, so many years, that to give myself permission to relax and expand was something new. And I remember that was part of our training, if you will, when he was trying to heal me, for me to do. And he would tell me in his best English as possible again, and then he would mimic it for me to follow. So he'd do like the whole deep breathing. So anyways, the reason why I'm bringing it up, because I've been reading this book, and I remember Gary saying, I don't remember when he said it, but he said something about how there's yoga, like yoga was taken away from the whole spiritual context of it nowadays in mainstream society. And so it's lost the purpose, the spiritual purpose of yoga to a certain degree, depending on where you practice it, depending on how you teach it. Right? Because I'm not going to assume that everybody who teaches it or practices it, there's a disconnect. It just really depends, right? So I'm learning about Hinduism, and it's talking about the different yogas, right? And in one of them, I think one of the last ones that I read, it talks about the breathing. It talks about the breathing. Prolonged abstention, gotta look up that word, from breathing is important too. So it's talking about evenness and breath reduction are the general aims here. A typical exercise calls for breathing so gently across goose down, touching the nostrils, that an observer cannot tell if air is moving in or out. Prolonged abstention from breathing is important too, for at such times the body approaches a state of suspended animation and the mind seems disembodied. These are cherished moments for the task at hand. So if I'm interpreting that correctly, which I don't know because I gotta look up some words, there's a disconnect, a disembodiment, but I didn't I mean, I wonder if that's what people mean when they have like an out-of-body experience. Although mine isn't really an out-of-body, like I don't feel myself detached. Like I know where I'm at the same time that I'm seeing this, but my focus is just on what I'm seeing, the movement. But it wasn't until today that I was paying more attention to my breath and the realization that as soon as I was done receiving that or seeing that, like I took a little deeper breath, and it wasn't even like a deep breath, like I was gasping for air, but it was enough for me to notice like my breathing was different, where it was just more shallow, where I wasn't paying like, yeah, it was just really shallow. And so now it also reminds me of that one guy that Jordan Peterson interviewed. I need to look that up. He interviewed on his podcast. He interviewed this guy who's known for like the extended breathing, or he does like breathing. It's a specific breathing technique, and it's like very like shallow, like, and in essence, he's training himself to hold his breath, right? I think I have to look it up, but I'll include that link because I need to watch it now. I'm curious. But anyways, just want to speak to that because it was just a really beautiful like interaction, and then just the connection, the awareness of my breath and the tingling sensation again. So anyways, today's wash day. I need to go return the movie Tokyo Story. Oh, what a lovely movie. And the director too. Is it the director or the producer? Director. Director, I think. Ozu is the last name. And the types of films. Now, I mean, it was just so beautiful. So lovely. I'm glad that I saw it. And it makes me want to see the other ones too. Anyways, good movie. I'll include the trailer to that one. Alright, bye. Hi. My name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learn to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us. In whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth, this just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience and that you find some type of truth for yourself, or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best, and we'll see what else comes next for me. So